Okay, so we're going to be looking at the standard priest in this video. So this is a deck which ultimately in the last expansion, I think it was basically the best deck there was, and that's quite like a strong thing to say. But when you play this deck, you realise that it's the thing about this deck is that it's not dependent at all on your opponent. It's basically just get all the cards, and then at the end you can just Chef Nomi, Seance, and then what can you do? Warrior has only got 2 brawls. Admittedly, I think there is a card now, I think Plague of Wrath Warrior, that could perhaps deal with it. But ultimately, this deck was the best in the last expansion. I feel it was the best because I felt like, in general, and this is not really, I don't know if it really should be this way, but in general, a deck is the best if it doesn't matter what deck your opponent has, because it's purely based on just, your win condition. So that can be Chef Nomi, or as we'll see in the next video with Mechathon, right? Um, so why is this deck so strong? Well, the reason it's so strong is because of the synergy between Northshire Cleric, while Pyromancer, and the reason why it hasn't been so strong, even though those cards have obviously been around forever, and also Acolyte of Pain, is because of some of the new cards that came in with the previous expansion, right? The round, what is it, Shadows or something. I can't remember the names of most of these expansions, but yeah. So Lazul's scheme, that's the first thing I'd say. Maybe keep that in hand. It's obviously got a huge combo, right? If they pull out like an 8/8 or something, you can easily get rid of it with a combo with Forbidden Words. Things like I'll just tell you the early game stuff that I like. For early game, you want to hold on to your minions, right? Because you don't have that many minions. Obviously not the minions down here, but the cleric, the pyromancer, and the acolyte. Hold on to all of those. Basically, what it entails is that you can get, if you for instance do nothing till turn 6, you can just destroy their board, whatever they've got, basically. And there is like an order of precedence as well. Like I think you need to use Circle of Healing first, would be good, and then maybe regenerate. Obviously, if you're doing stuff with the pyromancer, you need to. The thing is, right? You do need to make sure you don't overdraw because you're going to be drawing huge amounts of cards. Like if there's 7 minions and you're doing, Circle of Healing, that's going to do, 7, and then you're going to probably do damage to your acolyte, which is going to draw. It's quite the reason why I guess people don't play it so much is because it is quite complex to play. But it just completely. The reason it's so strong is because you're literally on turn. I don't know what I think there's a thing that maybe you can get to like your end that you can clear out your whole deck by like turn 7 or something. You obviously like will, but if you have Nomi and 2 seances in your hand, it doesn't really matter. You can also get your grave horrors out really early. So in the last expansion anyway, the point was that you could play the grave horror and seance it, because obviously you're going to get this out for 0, right? So you could play it and seance it, but against warrior that wasn't advised, because the point is that Chef really is of Chef Nomi, right? This deck, I mean, look at it, 6. So that's basically, it's like playing 42-42. Obviously, I know when you have multiple minions, I think it's calculated differently, but that is ridiculous, right? So that's constantly got full lethal, right? Even against warrior. Warrior can, they often have a lot of armor. They can sort of defend. They can do a bit of trades. They can do their shield slam or whatever. But as long as if you've got the next Nomi in your hand with the seance, it's normally completely simple to do. And the reason this is so much more powerful is because it's not like Mechathon, where everything has to be gone. It's only if your deck is empty, right? So if you have nothing in the deck, and this even beats Bomb Warrior fairly easily, right? So that's why it's important. You've obviously got your Science and your Topsy-Turvies. Yeah, I mean, it really is not dependent on the opponent's deck. I mean, it can be difficult to keep stuff. Sometimes you will just have to rely just on your Pyromancer. So what you would do typically, if you're failing to pull some of the cards you need, you just need to clear their board, right? You could do Pyromancer. You would have to do Shield. You know, I mean, what you would do is I do Pyromancer, then do Circular Healing, assuming their stuff hasn't been attacked yet. Then we can do, when it's on 1 health, the Pyromancer. Then we can do the Shield. We could try Regenerate. Another good play as well is, I'm trying to think like the best time when I do this. Yeah, I mean, when it's on, especially when it's on 3-1, right? A Topsy-Turvy is quite handy on 3-1, isn't it? Because then if you do Topsy-Turvy, it's 1-3, and and so when it would have 0 health, it actually has 2 if you Topsy-Turvy your Pyromancer. And you've obviously got Silence, which is, not many people use Silence anymore, but it's very useful in Priest, especially for 0 mana. Regenerate is good. Often get a lot of cards from Divine Hymn as well. But yeah, I do think that keeping the Lazul scheme to a later turn, I mean, you think about it. If you can reduce it by 8, you can get, like, say, a Mountain Giant or whatever just happens to appear at that moment. You can get it down to 0. Forbidden Words it. You're drawing cards all the time with Acolyte, and it's just not dependent. And obviously, you've got Gadget Sand as well. So if the early game hasn't been that good, you can just go with Acolyte. And the point is, right, the reason it's so strong is if you look at this, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 0 cost cards, right? So whenever that Acolyte comes down, it doesn't mean if you've got no coin. You're going to be playing loads of these. You can play Topsy-Turvy just straight on the Auctioneer. I mean, that's why it's so strong. And you will just get to the end of your deck, and there is nothing that anyone can do. No one has Vanish, so it's probably not going to happen. Brawl, so I guess there are more cards now. I mean, yeah, I mean, perhaps a warrior with King Ferris could complete the board. And there's also that card where destroy all your minions for Warlock, where you can summon a load of new ones as well. But to create a whole new board, it's almost like a thing which is coming into Hearthstone now. But yeah, this is incredibly strong. So goodbye.